Muted every, uh, I've unmuted everyone, and if anyone has a question,
Stuart, I have a question. Rudy would talk a lot about getting above the level of the earth and not being reincarnated on the earth. How do you work with wanting to get above the level of the earth, but then also loving the earth and being fully human? How do you reconcile those two?
well, you know, I spoke about that this afternoon. I think you even asked, was it you who asked me that question? Something similar.
Maybe.
Uh, um, Look, you can't get free of anything until you have totally and fully experienced it, until it no longer intimidates you or threatens you, until you can truly embrace it and allow it to become your teacher. The earth, life itself, is the greatest teacher we can possibly have. Much better teacher than Stuart. My job is to prepare you so that you can sit in front of and open and listen to all the different dimensions of life. That's how you get free of the material world, of this, the psychological world, the mental world, the emotional world, by truly learning how to embrace it, not be intimidated by it, allowing yourself to transform this morass of whatever it is, tension, and into your teacher. You bow to your teacher, you embrace your teacher, you're grateful to your teacher. You get free of life that way. We're born here on the earth to learn how to do this, to learn how to truly get free of our karma. That enables the soul to begin to separate from, earthly living, to be deeper, more deeply connected to God, to spirit. And then I always say this, it's like in the Bible where Jesus says, give unto Caesar what's Caesar's, give unto God what's God's. So you learn to give Caesar what Caesar demands, but you do it with gratitude, you do it with love, you do it with, a deeper sense of openness and surrender. It frees you of all these things so that you can really allow your consciousness, your soul, to get closer and closer to a state of spiritual enlightenment. Otherwise we live in a prison. We're trapped by our emotions, our mind, our all of this stuff. It traps us. We need to learn to embrace it. We need to learn to allow it to become a teacher. We need to bow to life. Life is sacred. All of life is a manifestation of God's energy in many, many thousands and millions of different forms. I'll never forget, I was sitting in Rudy's store one day, and this bag lady, a beggar woman, walked in. And he got up and he went up to her and he was kind. I think he gave her a flower, he gave her some money. And when he came back to his desk, he said to me, Stuart, you never know how God is going to manifest in your life. That's how you get free of all this. And I think this is an important thing for everybody to learn. It took me years to learn this, to not be afraid of life, to embrace it, and when you learn this, your soul really can breathe. It can really then ascend and become one with a higher force of energy. You have worked out your karma. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, why else are we born here? There's got to be a reason why we come to this place. Not to spend a lifetime being miserable, but to learn how to transform all the suffering, the tension, the difficulty into a spiritual life. I mean, the Buddha even said it, suffering is the fastest path to God. It's a constant reminder that you've got to grow inside yourself. And you don't have to go out looking for it. We all have our fair share of suffering. So what I'm saying is we need to get free of karma. We need to step off the merry-go-round of karma. And you can't step off that merry-go-round until you can totally open and bow to life, to allow life to be your teacher. It's the greatest university there is. It's called life. And then you have a lightness of being that allows the soul to rise and become one with higher energy, one with God, spirit, one with infinite energy in the universe, and attain a state of enlightenment.
Thank you. That was very helpful.
You're welcome. And we're not here to wait till the day we die to finally be finished with all of this. We have to work our way through it while we're alive. And how do you work your way through it? That's what I just spent 10 minutes explaining. That's how you work your way through it. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, you said two things today. One is about the lightness, about getting to this lightness. The other was about what you said in your book earlier, where you saw that your father had come to this peace, but why in the last 20 minutes or the very tail end. So could you speak to that peace and that lightness you're speaking of, and have you experienced this, or do you experience this yourself on a regular basis, those levels?
Well, just to answer the last part, yes. It took years of work. Look, that nurse, my father's nurse, gave me a good kick in the ass. She, God bless her, I don't know where she is today or what, if she's even alive today. She saved my life. She made me change. She made me have a different priority in life. And it came, and I discovered through that experience that the first great teacher I had was my father. And it came the last moments of his life that he became my first great guru, because he transformed my life through what he went through. And seeing him there lying in bed, and I never saw his eyes so clear, so peaceful. I could look 100 million miles in his eyes. The whole room was full of light. Seeing that transformed my life. And I said to myself, why did he have to wait 49 years to experience that, the last 20 minutes of his life? Why couldn't he experience that in his life? And I said to myself, I don't know how to do that, but there's somebody in this world who can teach me how to do it. And that's where my journey began. I was looking for Rudy. So, that state of samadhi, that state of total surrender, that peace, is what every human being wants, but they want it while they're alive. While they're, can enjoy being here, the heart can open, there's love inside them. They can enjoy the things they work for instead of being a slave to them. And I think that this is the key to the whole thing. And that nurse, I'll tell you, God bless her. She was sent to me by God to give me a kick in the ass and to change my entire life. I was 16 years old at the time. My whole life changed. And then it took years to work on even after I met Rudy and after Rudy took his samadhi, it took years and years of working on myself to transform Stuart into a state where he can experience that and he can live with that. It didn't just come. It came because of thousands of experiences I went through that I took deep enough inside myself and used as a ladder. It was like a Jacob's ladder that led to God. And yes, it's possible to do this. But, and I saw Rudy do it. My God, I never saw anybody work harder on himself.
What did the nurse say to you?
She said to me, I asked her, what is going on with my father? Because I had never seen him like that. He was in a state of complete serenity. I could look into his eyes and see forever. The room was full of light. And she said, to her experience, just before a person leaves the world, they enter this state of serenity. And I never saw my father like that. He was always, a little nervous, tense. He smoked his cigars. He did what he did, And I never saw him like that. And I said to myself, why did he have to wait all this time, 49 years, to experience this 15 minutes before he left the world? And then I said, I'm not going to put this off. I have to find someone who can teach me how to do this. I said, I don't know how to do this. I used to read about it in books on Zen and, the Bhagavad Gita. I used to read all those books when I was younger. But I said, how do you do this? I got to get somebody, find somebody who can teach me how to attain that state of being. And it took 9 years from the day that nurse gave me a kick in the ass to find Rudy. 9 really difficult years. And then when Rudy sat me down and showed me this exercise, I was, my God, I can get grounded. I can learn how to get grounded. I can learn how to develop a chakra system. I just knew the word chakra. I had no idea what chakras were. I could activate Kundalini. Anyway, that's how it happens. And that nurse, God bless her, she's indelibly imprinted in my consciousness, that woman, with tremendous gratitude. She just changed my life. And it was God talking through her, because I had to do something besides become a doctor and live in Scarsdale. And maybe when I was younger, I was enough of a gypsy, and I was never concerned about the future. I was always concerned about how the hell am I going to get my shit together living now? How do I get my mind quiet? How do I get my emotions quiet? How do I stop being crazy all the time? Oh, does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay. I mean, I know this is difficult stuff, but living isn't easy. And we have to learn how to deal with everything. And more than anything, how to use whatever happens to us as a reason to get closer to God. Not as a reason to defeat ourselves or to be upset or get depressed because negative things happen. They're going to happen. They happen to me. They happen to everybody. But how to use these things to grow, to develop our inner light so that we don't have to run away from them. We have the strength to transform them into a spiritual life, which is ultimately the single most important thing, because everything else just literally goes to the grave, except one's connection with God. And it doesn't mean you don't have family. I always say this, and friend, you have to have these things. But tantamount to everything is the importance of one's connection and never to be defeated by anything that happens to us in life, because all of it is just an opportunity to grow. All of it is an opportunity to love other people more deeply with more consciousness instead of being defeated by it. All of it is an opportunity to say no or yes in a situation. And when do you say yes? If it's helping you to grow, if it's helping you to get closer to your spiritual. And when do you say no? If it's sucking all your life out of you. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And look, let me, above everything else, it's something that I always talk about. When I was 16, I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I had to find somebody who can literally train me, take me through this. Get on that white water raft boat, with me and go through the rapids of Stuart Perrin's life. Take advantage of that. Rudy talked about living to 84 years old. At 45 years old, we hit a mountain in an airplane and he died. And the only reason I'm here is he put his soul force, his life force inside me the moment we hit that mountain. So take advantage of what God has given to you and really use it. And don't ever take it for granted, because I'm telling you, it slips away. And tomorrow's my birthday, and that also is just a reminder to me. Do your inner work, Stuart. Serve God in this world. Love the people in your life. Try to help them find that connection with higher energy, with God, with spirit, so they can live their lives on every level in a more conscious way. So things that, everything becomes a reason to get closer to your spiritual enlightenment. Okay, if there are no more questions, God bless you all. Thank you. And again, as I say, in all humility, I am so grateful to be here and to do this and to be having given this opportunity in my life. I don't understand why or what. I just know I'm just grateful to be able to sit here and do this. So bless you all. Thank you. And I hope there'll be a class on, Monday? I don't even know the days anymore. there'll be a class on Wednesday. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. And bless you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Happy
you, Stuart.
birthday.
Thank you, Stuart. Happy
Love you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Love you.
Happy
We
birthday.
love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.